You ever open up a news app and just your brain shuts down? It's this flood of headlines from all over the world, right? All of them screaming for your attention. It's so easy to feel like you're just looking at a bunch of random, chaotic pieces. Well, let's try to make some sense of it, because today we're going to dig in and try to find the hidden story in just a single day's news.
I mean, when you see it all laid out like this, war over here, politics, tech breakthroughs, some tragedy over there, it is a lot. That feeling of information overload, it's totally real. And it's a completely normal reaction to just the sheer volume of stuff happening on our planet, every single second of every single day.
But what if it's not just noise? What if underneath all that chaos, there's actually a pattern, a real narrative? What if all these things that seem so disconnected are actually pieces of a much bigger story about where we are as a world right now? That's what we're going to try and figure out.
So let's start with the biggest theme, the one that usually grabs all the headlines. It's a story about a world that feels, well, tense. It feels volatile, and you start to see just how connected all our conflicts really are. Just look at this slide for a second. You can literally see that tension mapped out across the entire globe. And it's not just one kind of conflict, is it? You've got reports from Sydney about attackers driven by Islamic State ideology. Thousands of miles away in the Black Sea, it's straight up state versus state war, with Ukraine hitting a Russian submarine. And then you have these incredibly deep, long-running civil and territorial disputes in eastern Congo and the West Bank hitting these really critical moments. It's like we're looking at a global tapestry of instability. And behind every single one of those headlines, there are people. This quote from the reporting on the Bondi Beach attack just brings it all home, doesn't it? It talks about a community that was already living with this sense of dread, only to be hit by something even worse than they imagined. It's just a brutal reminder of the human cost of all this. And the consequences, they are so real and life-changing. This number right here, 21.5 years, that's the jail sentence for a driver in Liverpool who weaponized his car and drove into a crowd. This just drives the point home that these aren't abstract events on a map. They have real, solid consequences, from loss to justice. All right, let's shift gears to our next theme, because you'll see how this connects. Running right alongside all that global tension is another massive story, the absolutely incredible and sometimes kind of terrifying speed of technology. And this slide just perfectly captures the contradiction, the two sides of the tech coin. On one side, you have this incredible promise. AI is learning thousands of African languages, which could help preserve cultures and connect people in amazing new ways. We've got these e-seeds that could totally change how we reforest our planet. But then there's the other side, the peril. The US government is building a tech force for AI and defense, and our language itself is getting clogged with what Merriam-Webster is calling poor AI content. And this isn't just happening in some secret lab somewhere. It's a full-on economic and political arms race. You have a former US president signing orders on AI. You've got corporate giants like Disney throwing $1 billion at OpenAI. And it's even happening in our personal lives. Companies like Aura are in this fierce battle with Apple and Google to track something as intimate as our sleep. The race is on, and it's happening everywhere. Okay, but if you only read those headlines, you'd get a pretty bleak picture. You would miss a huge part of the story, because the world is also a place of total wonder, incredible resilience, and just plain weirdness. So let's look at the stories that don't fit into neat little boxes. How about this for a surprise? Near a Winter Olympics venue in Italy, a photographer just stumbles upon thousands of dinosaur footprints. Can you imagine? It's this amazing collision of time, the deep ancient past literally sitting right next to a modern symbol of global sport. It's a wild reminder of the layers of history that are right under our feet. And then you get this. A story about Italian grandmas, almost 90 years old, who are becoming Instagram stars by sharing their wisdom and cooking with the whole world. And this is more than just a cute story, right? It's about connection. In a world where tech can feel so isolating, here it is, building bridges between generations, keeping traditions alive, and proving that a great story and some great pasta never gets old. This next story is it's incredible. In Asia, there's a group of women whose husbands were killed by tigers, and now they are the ones leading the charge to restore the habitat for those very same animals. Think about that. It's a story of almost unimaginable grace, turning that kind of profound loss not into revenge, but into an act of conservation, a fight for coexistence. It just makes you rethink what strength and forgiveness even mean. And finally, in a headline you definitely didn't see coming, Japan, one of the most high-tech places on Earth, is dealing with a surge in deadly bear attacks, and it's leading to citizen-led bear patrols. It is such a stark reminder that no matter how advanced we get, we still share this planet, and sometimes that relationship brings us right back into this primal, direct conflict with nature.
So, we've seen conflict, we've seen technology's two faces, and we've seen stories of pure surprise. What do we do with all that? How do you turn all this information into actual understanding?
Well, instead of just letting the news wash over you, maybe try this. First, look for the patterns, just like we did with the World on Edge theme. Second, find the contradictions, like the promise versus the peril of AI. And maybe most important of all, don't forget the people. The Italian grandmas, the women fighting for tigers, the communities in shock. That's where the real story is.
Because at the end of the day, every single one of these stories, from the global flashpoints to the dinosaur footprints, is another brushstroke in the portrait of our time. They say the news is the first draft of history. Looking at it all together like this, you just have to ask yourself, what kind of story are we all writing?